I'm here to tell you about an incident that occurred here at the police department. Port St. Lucie Police Evidence Technicians Thomas LaBelle Jr., Vernal Taylor, and Jeffrey Hunter were arrested on warrants that were approved on June 12, 2019, following an investigation. LaBelle and Taylor were charged with grand theft and organized scheme to defraud, and Hunter was charged with grand theft. All three employees were placed on administrative leave during the course of the investigation after accusations of improper disposal of evidence were brought to the attention of supervisors on May 8, 2019. Each of the employees involved in improperly disposing of evidence, either converting it to their own personal use or offering it for sale, when it should have been either returned to the owners or destroyed pursuant to Florida State Statute 705.105. The items involved were property such as pellet guns, the magazines for firearms, tools, sporting equipment, electric toothbrushes, razors, and other household items. All the items involved were cases that had been closed and the evidence was due to be disposed of. None of the items were related to an active criminal investigation. All three individuals have been placed on unpaid administrative leave pending an internal administrative investigation. And I will take questions.
How long do you think this is going on for?
We don't believe it was going on for very long. But our criminal investigation was limited to a couple of months. We pulled all of the video that we had on archive as part of the investigation. So the actual investigation went back 67 days from the notification.
What did you see on the video?
Basically, what they were doing is part of a disposal. You do a lot of paperwork to account for the item, and then it's marked as disposed of, and it's supposed to be destroyed so it's not usable, and then we just throw it away. And the items were not destroyed, and they were not thrown away. So,
Did you see them like take the items and take them back to their desk, or?
The items were taken out of the building to the area where they would be thrown away, and then they were retrieved later.
So what oversight does the department have when it comes to evidence pertaining to dated investigations?
Okay, so we are an accredited organization, and we have a very specific set of protocols that are supposed to be followed. We had a lot of faith in those protocols, and I will tell you, this incident has caused us to reevaluate, and we will be, even though what we have is adequate, we're going to beef it up so that there's no way this can happen again.
So was that evidence pertaining to one particular portion of the facility? Is it, sustained to one room, or is there a?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one. We call them divisions, but it's one section of the police department.
And, sorry, were they selling any of these items online, or was it like at garage sales or to other people in the parking lot?
Yeah, we haven't found items actually advertised for sale per se on a website, but we did uncover person-to-person opportunities to purchase.
So how does this misconduct affect the credibility of the cases that these officers dealt with in the past?
It shouldn't have any effect on the cases because the cases were closed in court, and you can tell by the nature of the items that they're not key pieces of evidence. And the cases had been either to court or they didn't go to court, they got settled some other way, and it was time for us to just purge the stuff out of our evidence.
Is there any reason to suspect that they were, since these were closed cases, any ongoing cases or active cases that they might have been doing the same thing?
No, we've looked at all disposals of evidence, and we have made sure that none of them were related to active criminal cases.
Audit?
Absolutely. And that process is also ongoing, paperwork audit way back, as far back as we can go.
So the three of them were working together, or are these separate individuals?
Well, there's three people that work together in their job,
Right.
and because the charge of
Grand theft?
the scheme to defraud
Yeah.
is where they communicated with each other and did it together.
Okay, so they were in cahoots then?
I don't like that word, but
Well, you
yeah,
don't have,
yeah,
but they kind of like planned this
yeah, like
together.
yeah.
Was it going on? How long do you think it was going on? I know the investigation was for a month, but was it going on?
It seems like it tapers as the further back in the investigation we go, so we think we got onto it fairly quickly, but we will never know.
How long have they been with the agency?
For years, many years, yeah.
Was it
What's the
another-
total amount of years when you say years? All three of them.
You got me. Yeah, I don't have their bios in front of me, but
Can you say if it was another technician that reported it?
it was reported to a supervisor in that section by another employee, yes.
How many technicians do you have within that department? I'm wondering if you're down-staffed, being that you have 3 technicians
Yeah.
on your
So,
investigation.
so we have a supervisor, an assistant, and then we have 3 technicians. So yes, we're downsized. I have moved additional people into the section right now to maintain the operation. The supervisor of the section is still there. So we're.
Are they being charged, obviously they're being charged, are they like arrested, or what's happening with them right now?
So yeah, the warrants were approved by the state attorney and a judge, and then they were, because they're police employees, they were given an opportunity before the warrants actually got into the system to be served by the sheriff's office to post bond, and they all 3 elected to post their bond. So they went up to the jail and posted a bond.
And they're not officers, correct?
They are not sworn police officers.
Have they always been technicians through their whole stay with DSLPD?
2 of them are retired police officers, one from another organization and one from this one.
Was all of the tampered evidence retrieved, and have you notified the families who are involved in those unsolved cases?
No, you say tampered, nothing was tampered with.
Allegedly.
Yeah, alleged, where we're at with that part of the that's part of our administrative investigation. The victims that we have been able to identify, we have contacted, and we're still working to identify the victims of each of the cases so that we can identify whether they want the property back. We've put the property that we were able to recover back into evidence.
How many victims are we talking about?
I haven't counted them. It's several. Numerous would be a good, yeah. I mean, you can imagine, you saw the list of items, you know.
Something like this, just kind of like, it leaves a bad taste, you know?
It does.
You think of law enforcement, tampering, you see stuff like this on movies.
Right.
What's your response to, you know, the community about something like this?
So, obviously, I'm deeply disturbed, and that's why we did an investigation, and why we took it to the state attorney's office and to the judge, because this does violate the public trust in this organization. And while a couple of individuals can severely damage the reputation of an organization, I think how the organization deals with, you know, the missteps of individuals is most important for the organization. Now, I'm not going to be here forever. No one that works here is going to be here forever. So the organization has to worry about its public reputation. And in law enforcement, we're given a public trust. It's very sacred to us individuals that work here, and I think it's imperative that we maintain that public trust so that the citizens can have confidence in us to do our jobs. So how it makes me feel personally, because that's usually the follow-up question to that one, I'm very upset about it, but I'm also paid not to be emotional and to do my job. So I'm going to do what needs to be done here.
In regards to LaBelle, I noticed LaBelle Jr. was his father with the police department many times. I don't know the name sounds familiar.
So I think that's in that public record section that I'm not supposed to comment on.